Thank you for the invitation. I will introduce the Teacher Center. We will be for people today, so I will talk a little bit about Teacher Center. There will be Shankar talking a little bit about Auroville as a whole and a little bit what is our backup. And after we will have a child who grows in Auroville and Auroville Project. So I will present PowerPoint, and so just maybe we can share now. Just a few seconds. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is Teacher Center in Auroville. My name is Anna. Okay, so Teacher Center, we are located in India in a city called Auroville. The idea of Auroville is to be a universal city where have people from all the world, to be a multicultural place. And the main aim or goal of Auroville is to really become a unity, to really respect the particular of everyone and try to see what can bring us together. Of course, we are at this time in a very particular time, but hopefully we can go over and we can get that as that challenge as a part of this unity process. Okay. Okay, so Teacher Center. Well, actually, Teacher Center is a project that started around 2013, where some educators, including myself, we were kind of concerned about the education in Auroville. We are around 3,000 inhabitants in Auroville, and we were looking at the part of education for teachers, and we feel like something was missing. So for another side, there were some people looking for training, and we come together around maybe 5-6 people at that time, and we present the project, and luckily we got a little tiny office that you can see it here, a little tiny room that is basically our office, where we sometimes can give some professional development for teachers, but we basically move around Auroville. We are now 3. We were 4, but now we are 3, and we are 3 educators and 1 secretary. So our team is 4 now, and so the mission of the Teacher Center is support teachers and educators who are committed to follow the development of the child, applying the principles of integral education as has been seen by SAIIER, Aurobindo, and MATRIMANDIR. So this is our field. We are particular in this direction, but we integrate in our work many pedagogies. Okay, so we can see here teachers working. We can see here when we have some sharing moments, and basically what we do. So the team of Teacher Center, what we do is to support schools. So we will be moving to the school. We will be working directly with teachers. Each school have applying the integral education, but each school have a different style. So what we try to do here is to adjust to the style of the school and to try to cover the needs of the teachers. Also, one more thing that we do is to build network and try to facilitate for the teachers what is the need, depending in the circumstances that they have. Sometimes it's with kids, sometimes it's with training, sometimes it's with connect, with activities that the children can do or the teachers will like to do. So basically it's what is happening here. And from that, we have different programs. We have 2 types of schools, when there are outreach schools and when there are Auroville schools. So the outreaches are in contact with the work with the village, and the Auroville schools are more connected with the inhabitants of Auroville. So the basically aim of Teacher Center is the implementation of integral education in Auroville and build network basically. So that as already said. So what are our values? Collaboration, unity, teamwork, respect, responsibility, and transparency. Okay, so I think when I was thinking about this sharing about teacher center, I think we cannot keep on the side what integral education is about it. So I think the basic is to try to make the educators aware about that the children are the hope of the future, and that will be the builders of tomorrow. So wherever we bring to them, wherever we do with them, that will be the future of what we want to be. So basically is to work in the teachers deeply to become aware and to become conscious about it in order that can be come and share in that from another place, from more, I will say, deeper part, where the teacher can find the inner call and can share with the outside. So the pedagogical principles, these are three, but actually it's a topic that can take us hours and still we keep discussing between us and try to understand what SAIIER, Aurovindo, and Mother try to say. So each project, each school, each teacher will be living these principles and sometimes in a different way applying, no? But basically, to tell in a very, very, very few words that nothing can be taught is that, in short, we teach what we are. We cannot teach what we don't know. We cannot teach an intellectual level. What we do is what we teach. Not what we said, it's what we do, what we are, yeah? And the other aspect is that the teacher, it's not teacher, it's a person who will be giving company to the child development and try to provide elements and tools that can support the inner development. So the second is the mind must be consulted. Maybe you can help me, Shankar. I read and
yeah, actually, when we look at,
maybe you can read it. And
okay, the mind must be consulted in its own growth. That is observation, free progress, follow the child.
Well, basically, in this case, what we do is, as educators, one of the main tools that we have is the observation. We will work with something that we call free progress, that is to bring to the child a specific curriculum according to the child needs. And how we will build and make this curriculum is following the child interest.
Yeah, the third principle is working from the near to the far, from which is to what which shall be.
So this is quite complicated, but what I can say is, first, the child start from what is inside, or we also as an adult start from what we have inside, and from that we will project it to outside. One more thing is connect the micro with the the micro with the macro, and the macro with the micro. So what happened inside of us will be also happen outside, and we see how this is interrelated. And when I talk about this, we can see it, that wherever I relate to a plant, wherever I relate to the animal or the nature, is how I'm living inside of me. So this is very meaningful for us, and we can apply in many directions. I mean, now it's a little bit sharing about what we do, but I mean, it's a topic that we can take us more. Yeah. We have in the integral education, we cover what we say 5 dimensions. We have the education of the physics, that is all the activities that are concerned to work with the body. I will not really gonna deep in this topic because we will need more time for talk about it, but a little bit to give you an idea what we do. So in the physical part, we have all what is related to development of the body. The vital have 2 areas. vital is what is connected with the senses. So the child develop the senses, but the senses are also the way that the child absorbs the outside, and the outside will become the child world. Oh, also this is happening in an adult. And the other part that is part of the vital education is that the child will develop what we call willpower, but an intelligent willpower. That is basically to say is try to transcend our personality or ego personality. Yeah. The third is the education of the mind. So we have here all the connection that is with the mind and the emotions and the intellectual development. The psychic part is, the psychic and the spiritual part are the most complicated, and actually I think we are quite far to really bring it to the ground. But it's basically to find our, when we talk about the psychic, is what is our mission in the world? That to really we discover as a human being what is our mission. And the education of the spirit is to keep this connection with the divine. That could be the nature, could be a specific religion. Remember that we are in India, and India has a very, very particular connection with the spiritual side, and it's very, very important, and it's very much part of the culture and the daily life. So it's this connection. It could be even our inner, how I can say, like what our inner connection, no, Shankar? Okay, so we can come to the next. Okay, so what happened when we have the possibility to work in an integral way, the child will develop self-discipline. They will develop many other things, but self-discipline, respect, independence, interdependence, freedom, responsibility. That is not, it's seeing more that the child has the capacity to give answer to their own actions and decisions. So I choose these two little photos because I see on that how the kids, these are all our kids in Auroville, how support each other, how the children work here together, how they're growing together and interact to support each other. Okay, so now we come a little bit what was one of our challenges. I don't think Sony Teacher Center is the whole community. Auroville is a multicultural city with many languages, with many people, with many perspectives and many different points of view. So at the same time, we have many projects, beautiful projects, and with high aspiration. One of them is Teacher Center. But one of the challenges that we have is that we don't have enough people sometimes. Their space is limited. The money sometimes is a limitation. Sometimes we have the money, but we don't have the people. Sometimes we have the people, we don't have the money, or we don't have the space. So this is something that constantly it's floating in our projects and in our daily life. So I can say that our life here is a daily challenge, a daily work. And sometimes the things are going well and something happened, or sometimes the things are going not so well and something happened and the things start to move on. The other thing is, and I think it's a question for all people that lives in Auroville, is how we can build unity when we are so different. How we can find that point that we can build this understanding and the view where we really want to go as a community. And the other that I think is one of our biggest challenges is how we can bring these beautiful ideas, these beautiful aspirations in our projects to a reality. How we can bring it as a reality that it can pass to not to be an idea about what SAIIER say or what Mother said, how we can bring it to the ground and how we can manifest it, because actually it's one of the parts that SAIIER spoke about it. But I will say that every day when I go back to home, I say, well, with all these challenges, with all these difficulties that we have, some progress is done. Something is happening that the community still is sustaining, that we can see a beautiful growth, not only the people, sometimes is in the forest, sometimes is in the relation to each other, sometimes is in the children. There are small, sometimes the small things that still give this power to continue. So, well, basically is what I have to say. I will pass to Shankar, who will talk a little bit more about what is Auroville and how Auroville is structured, and a nice connection with the Jen Mandala. So maybe you can come.
Yeah. So guys, when Morocco was talking about, how they have to design a community for, to fit all the educational activities within the community, I would say we are lucky, because this community was pretty much dreamt by the founder of the community. So when this community was started, all these things all the things that you see here are more well conceived. And the mother, Mir Alfasa, who was the spiritual partner of Sri Aurobindo, who came to Pondicherry, has seen that, and she has explained to her disciples, look, this is how a community can thrive. So if you look at these two emblems, this is actually the city in large, and now you look at the whole system design, which is very, very similar. It's very interesting to see the contemporary thoughts of the era, I would say. So you could directly connect your cultural area to the cultural zone, and your ecological area to the peace area and green belt, and your economic area to the industrial zone, and social area to the residential zone. So it is very well developed and given this cradle so that we could play our game around it. So apart from that, of course, if there is any question session, you can ask questions. Go ahead. Yeah, see, it is not only that. We have to look at the whole city in this galaxy model, because this is going to be the center of the city. In fact, this green dot is the banyan, which is the geographical center of the whole city. In fact, that was the only green tree when people slowly moved here 54 years ago, because this was such a barren land. We do have a Pondicherry city, which was a French colony, and people standing right here in this plateau can see the city, which is 13 kilometers away. Such an aerated and deserted land now has become a green forest. So some of the buildings do exist here, like this area, MATRIMANDIR area, which is our we go for our own time, because whoever goes to this area gives time for themselves. So this is MATRIMANDIR area, which is the heart of the city. So then we do have some buildings already, but we need to build a lot to achieve this galaxy model. But we are very slow. As Anas said, every day is a challenging day here. When we have manpower, we don't have enough funds. When we have funds, then we need to think about design, and we have to ratify about the designs and come to consensus. So these are all our challenges. So when people from 52 countries come together, it is not just cross culture within a country, it is throughout the world. Therefore, we need to go through all the processes that would fit to people who like to live and took the call of the mother, that is, people of goodwill can come here. So this is where we are. The next one is, see, within the MATRIMANDIR. So this is the aerial photo, and you can see 4 or 5 gardens already, and these gardens even were given names by the mother, and these names are very much connected with all the values that Anna was talking about, because she was focusing on this value from the educational side. But if we develop all our domain, like, and that too, the last two domains, psychic and spirit, then probably this will be the values that we have to look at. Because apart from vital, mental, and physical education, the psychic and spiritual education is something that one has to really, really go deep and have to look into our models and mentors. Then only we can kind of try and understand. So look at these names that are given here for all the zones, all the gardens, and also the point, unity point, and our strengths, how we have to become the perfect being for the future. Because the Auroville is not just the experiment today. This generation has started, or last generation has started its journey, but this will go ahead with the new addition, and obviously this project is for the future. Yes, this is the banyan tree I was talking about. This was actually the only living green spot 54 years ago, and there was a small footpath that connected the city Pondicherry, which is 13 kilometers away from the local area. So, and this is, yeah, again, it's very interesting how the modern Sri Aurobindo have put everything together, because integral education is not actually these days, because many people, I believe, this is my personal feeling, that many people believe that, oh, integral education is nothing but the holistic education. Wait a minute, no, integral is not holistic at all. Integral is something that connects a being with everything, so whether it is his society, his culture, how he deals with his flora and fauna, and also people and daily lifestyle and everything. So even these things, the qualities are given to flowers. And when we get into Matrimandir, each garden is actually dominated by such flora and fauna for each garden. So you could also, this is Anna's trial, that all these 12 things that she put under the major title of the whole system design, like existence, consciousness, beliefs, which is actually very interesting. Whoever kind of heard that in the yoga world, they always talk about Satchit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, and that. So like that, it is very kind of organically put in here.
Shankar, I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is so interesting. I just want to bring a little awareness of time. I know we also want to hear from Sarah. So maybe if we just
we are over.
Yes,
yeah.
I think
thank you so much. It's super interesting, and we could give you a full hour, but we just want to hear from everyone and to have a discussion. Thank you.
I'm not conscious about my own time, because I know Anna was actually did not have the bell, but she has been ringing while we're preparing that. Yeah. We have only 3 minutes. Okay, now it is Sarah, please.
Well, this is a photo of Matrimandir, and now it's Sarah here.
So, hello all. My name is Sarah. I'm 19 years old. I grew up in Auroville, India. I came to live in Auroville when I was 2 years old, and I've done all my schooling here from pre-creche to high school. My experience of growing up here and taking the decision to live here is something I feel very proud to share with you all today. Here are some pictures of me when I was little here in Auroville, of the trips we've done, of the for example, on the left, there's a play of painting. This is our classroom here, and a picture with me at the MATRIMANDIR. First of all, I would like to put emphasis on the activities available here in Auroville, which I think helps the integral and holistic development of the child. The activities for children and young adults that are offered are developing the physical and vital education. For example, school sports, horse riding, martial arts, aikido, mixed martial arts and cutlery, surfing, archery, frisbee, pottery, circus, Zumba, music, which is piano, guitar, saxophone, flute, recorder, etc., choir, dance. There's Bharatanatyam, Odissi, and Kathak, which are Indian classical dances, and tango and salsa, and much more, of course. All children, as members of the community, can experience all these as part of the integral education curriculum. All these activities are a facility from SAIIER or Aurovilians with no contribution needed or for a very small contribution. I've personally experienced some of these activities, and I find it amazing that there are so many possibilities, as it really helps you find the few that one personally enjoys the most. So here there's pictures of me in choir, horse riding, especially one of my favorites, and circus. Second of all, I would like to share the love I have for the community way of growing up. As we are only 3,000 residents at the moment, I found it a very unique and wonderful experience. While I was in last school, the high school here in Auroville, I had the opportunity to work as an apprentice in the Auroville ambulance service as part of my schooling curriculum. Since then, which is 2.5 years ago now, I have been working with them, learning new skills, gaining a lot of experience every day, and the most important, helping and supporting the community in this field. I appreciate Auroville a lot for giving me all this knowledge, unique and hands-on experience that I'm sure would not be possible somewhere else without a high school certificate. In Auroville, we don't learn to get a certificate, we learn for the love and interest we have for something. We don't expect a certificate. That also makes us free of the traditional examinations. That doesn't prove the real knowledge we have. Here are some pictures of in the middle of me working with the ambulance. On the left, pictures of me at Teacher Center, which is here right now. And the 3 pictures on the side is art that I've created in my high school, which is called La School, which is also an art school. We live in a multicultural city with many cultures and different languages around. That gave me the possibility to speak French, German, my mother tongue, and English, Tamil, and now Spanish. About a year ago, I decided to jump into the new field of work, which was education. I started to work half-time at the ambulance and half-time at the teacher center as a secretary. Here I had the possibility to learn with other teachers and train myself in the field of integral education, using as a main tool Montessori and other pedagogies, which has brought me here to present this webinar today. Now I will pass it on to Leo, who will present a project that is happening in Auroville. Thank you.
Hello, I'll just talk briefly about a farm project for children and young adults with special needs. This is a collaboration between DPUM and Auro Orchard. DPUM is a therapeutic school for children with special needs from the villages surrounding Auroville, and it aims to provide a range of different therapies, activities, and educational methods to support our children to reach their potentials and to have an opportunity for a better life. Auro Orchard is Auroville's second largest farm. It's organic and it has a strong focus on regenerative agriculture. This collaborative project came about when DPUM had to close due to COVID, leaving many of our students struggling with the support that without the support DPUM offers. And Auro Orchard was also short of volunteers, as many had to leave. So we began bringing a few of the older students to volunteer on the farm. And in the last 2 years, we've introduced more of the younger students too, with a total of 18 children and young adults with special needs benefiting from this project. Auroville is unique in that it facilitates the materialization of this kind of collaboration. Running this project isn't easy for anyone, but there is a general goodwill and desire to support everyone to develop integrally. And this keeps us moving forward and pushing for new experiments and ways of learning. Next. We have 2 groups that come 2 mornings a week each to do the normal farm work tasks. And these include weeding, pruning, mulching, composting, and planting, and that contributes to the running of the farm. But each task is organized so that the students are able to engage to the best of their ability while also learning new skills. We have individual goals for each student that we work towards in each task that they do. And these goals range from those focused on more physical aspects, such as skills, hand-eye coordination, grip strength, and others are more focused on the cognitive level, like understanding and processing information, memory, maintaining focus and attention. For some, the focus is more on vocational training, where we look at workplace behaviors, teamwork, and taking responsibility. And for all of them, whether it's a goal or not, we see an increase in self-confidence, communication, maturity. There's a magic about working with nature and the soil that's really evident when working with these students. We teach them what they're doing and why, we observe how the plants grow, and each week the students bring home some vegetables for their families. But even for those who aren't able to understand the processes, they have a level of groundedness and peace on the farm that I don't see in the classroom. And for some, this joy of being in a rich, regenerative environment of growth has turned into a desire to work in farming in the future. Next. So the main challenge of this project is the logistics, especially transport and scheduling. As the project's not at DPAM, it takes the students away from the school for hours at a time. This means we constantly have to be evaluating and reevaluating whether their time is best spent on the farm or in individual sessions at DPAM. And when on the farm, it also requires finding the balance between working within the pace of a working farm and also giving time and attention to each student. But the challenges are small compared to the benefits that they gain. It's hard to know exactly what has been gained from one area or another, but I'm confident that the students are blossoming through their work on the farm in a way that I would not be able to facilitate in a classroom. It also benefits the farm, and it creates an atmosphere of culture and acceptance, openness, and possibility. The feedback from the farm employees has been overwhelmingly positive, and we hope that these positive interactions will have a ripple effect into the communities and the villages around us. That's all, thank you.
Well, so thank you. Actually, even what I would like to say is that Teacher Center is a network. So it's try to bring together all what is happening in Auroville. So that's why we consider it was important that you have a test of all here. So for more information, we have Teacher Center and also DPAM, that is the project Leo presented on the end, if somebody wants to know more about it. And thank you very much for all your patience.